I'm gonna show you now how that tension and release thing is working in this particular mix. So I dragged my template for the mix. I put the riffs in the riffs channel, put the vocals and the vocals, etc., and then did my arranging. First thing you may have noticed that I have a verse part leading to a chorus part. The verse part is the vocal of Single Ladies, and the chorus part is the chorus of Hetero Jack. So, but before that, right in the beginning when we start, there's this 50-cent refrain looping over and over, just over beats, with no riffs, no melodies at all behind. What that's gonna make is that tiny part is already creating tension, and the release is gonna be the beginning of the Ray Charles melody. And if you notice, other small things to build tension are rises and build ups, and then drop downs or fills. If you notice, the beats I use, the sequencing of the beats I use start with the most simple beat from the Alicia Keys song to one which is more dense, the Putinelli Love Song 2, and another which is even denser with claps, and another even more denser too with claps. So basically this one's a very simple loop. Let me just show you. This one denser, even denser, and the most dense of them all. And they build up until here, where there's a transition part from the tipsy song, and a drop down right here, and the vocal finishes and starts the melody. So there's a tension and release event right there. Then what happens in the end of this loop? The melody gets cut and chopped, so it's not complete again. What is gonna make is build tension, because you're not hearing the full melody, you're only hearing some notes of it, and there's the Single Ladies refrain behind. Then starts the verse, which in itself builds tension, which are what verses are supposed to. And the melody gets full again, chopped again, and full again. All this before the chorus hits. What this means is that when the chorus hits, people who will be listening have listened to the whole melody 3 times and the chopped part 2 times, so they'll want to hear something different. And that's when the chorus comes in, releasing for all the tension built while the verse was playing, and while we were having repetitions of the riff part. Other things that add up to release are generally overall loudness in the chorus. Choruses are supposed to be loud and full. They're always louder and fuller than verses, or almost always. They generally have more instruments. And when we approach the chorus right here, you notice that I dropped these claps, which will make the beat pretty dense. They're actually on the ends part, like 1 and 2, and which will make it sound like it's in double time. So it will make it pretty dense and pretty loud, pretty intense, like chorus should be. Adding to that, right in the last repetition of the chorus, I added this beat, so it will be even louder. Also I have this space keepers right here to make the percussion part fuller. It starts when the verse starts as well. It kind of marks the beginning of the verse, separating the intro part of this mix in particular. And other things that you may notice that I do a lot is dropouts. Small dropouts that most people won't even notice. They're there for the most time, like here, you know, another one here, two more here. These all make for transition parts, drops and fills, like this one in the end of the beat here, like this one right here. They not only they build tension for something to come, but they also ease transitions and make it sound like things are actually coming and not appearing out of nowhere. And it's very important for this style of mixing because it's constantly changing the beat, is constantly coming new stuff in and out. So good transitions, it's very important to make it kind of keep the flow and not lose it, because if you don't do good transitions, if you don't do a well set up tension and release with intros, verses, choruses, and outros parts, what's gonna happen is that you're just gonna be slamming a lot of riffs and melodies throughout, and it's gonna feel like you're just zapping through music channels that happen to be on the same tempo, and that won't be really cool. It has to have a flow, and that's why I'm talking about it. I'm not really gonna do any arranging here because it takes a lot of time. I wanted to discuss just the theory behind it, or rather my approach to it. And if you listen to my stuff, you'll feel what I'm talking about all over my mixes. They generally have a starting point. They build up. They have verses, well-defined verses and choruses, and outros. Sometimes the outro of one mix is the intro of another, but they're generally well defined. I have lots of elements like this Drake beat over here, just kind of separating the outro from the hetero jack mix to this Tina Turner one. They just in the transition, so it kind of is an outro to this one and an intro to this one. I also have this little vocal part here that kind of puts a period on this mix, so to speak, and the riser effect, this rising effect, that kind of starts this one over. So yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to say about arranging. Just if you are experienced with Ableton Live arrangement view, it's gonna be very easy because you're gonna try a lot of combinations pretty fast, and you'll get you'll reach combinations that you like, and then you just build from that in a linear fashion, but always kind of having some sequence and some method in it that makes it feel like whole songs that are all part of the same at the same time. One more thing about this tension and release thing is that if you want to have verses and choruses, it means that you'll have to sample stuff. For example, in melodies or riffs, you'll have to sample stuff that will go as a verse and sample that will go as a chorus. In this case, I have the melody from Hit the Road Jack, which goes as a verse, and the entire chorus from Hit the Road Jack, which goes as a chorus. I also use some chops of the melody on top of it because I thought that without them, the chorus wasn't loud enough. And since chorus should be louder than verses, I used some chops of the riff as well. But one thing that happens is that sometimes you can sample both parts for verses and chorus from a track. Sometimes you can even sample parts for an intro, but sometimes you can only sample like two parts or maybe even one. And what you can do to bring some variation to it and not feel like the same 2-bar riff loops like for 16 bars or something, is do what's done here, cuts. And same thing that I did, I know over here with this Coldplay melody, I did some chops here, which kind of made me create, let me create an outro of the same melody I use in the verse. I use as well here in the Pixies song. I only had like 2 loops which were very similar. So in order to make, an outro, I did some chopping of the notes. I did it, where else have I did it? I did it here as well. I only had 2 loops again, they were very similar. So one was the verse, the other was the chorus. So I didn't want to end abruptly, so I did a whole chopping of the melody. And let's look how it sounds. So it's basically it's this loop, and it's it's basically the same notes. I just cut a few off, and sometimes it's enough to bring in more variation and make it sound that you have more of the original track sampled than you actually have. And that's important too. And the way to do it is just use your imagination. Try cuts, try chops, try maybe reversing the order of the notes and make a different melody, etc., etc. Just use your imagination.